always. I
Say that
think
one more
that
time.
just remember that you are the prize.
Yes.
That's like his golden slogan for me.
Yeah. And
So
what does that mean for you in relationships when you're like, I'm the prize? What does that mean?
it just
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're talking about Lori Harvey and we're explaining this. Why is it that some of these black men really do hate on Lori Harvey? Let me give you a quick reason why. The reason why some of these men, I'm talking about specifically our black community, why they don't like Lori Harvey is because she moves like one of the boys. Number two, if she moves like one of the boys, she cannot be trusted. And one of the greatest fear of any man is that a woman will move like a man, and her truth or how she loves or how she cares cannot be trusted because we're used to women acting in a particular way when it comes to relationships. The truth of the matter is, the reason why some men hate Lori Harvey is because if she becomes a heroine and says that she's the prize, and you see her dating all these top men, she could inspire other women to know their true value and true worth. And guess what? When they know their true value and their true worth, a lot of us are disqualified, right? I know some men are not gonna like that. Another reason why some people don't like Lori Harvey is because we ain't used to women acclimatizing, or I should say, operating outside of the sphere of male privilege. And what I mean by that is, let me change the term male privilege to male centeredness. Lori Harvey is deciding to move on her own time, do whatever she wants, choose whoever she wants, get with whoever she wants, and then she has the audacity not to say a word as to what happened in those relationships. Men are so used to women blabbing, talking, exposing what happens in relationships, and showing vulnerability. And one of the things that men hate when they see other women and who are like Lori Harvey is that when they show no invulnerability, it means that we can be hurt. And actually, we don't have the power in this transaction anymore. My final point before I expand and go further and talk a little bit more, the men don't want to tell you this because they can't tell you this because a lot of men operate on a programming, but they don't ever check the coding. And because they don't check the coding, they don't know why they do what they do. They just do what they do. She's a prize, she said, and absolutely lives by it. And that's one thing that I actually appreciate about Lori Harvey. She says she's a prize and actually acts like a prize. And unfortunately, a lot of men, they know they don't qualify for this particular prize. And that is frustrating for any male because life has taught us, due to what we live, the way we live, and the way that we're grown and the way we operate within society, is that everything is male centered. Just like white people have the same issue, which they think everything is white centered. And that's why sometimes they have the audacity to treat black people the way they do. It's because they're used to things being circular around them, every issue concerning them. Hey, if you don't like what I've said, take it up in the comments and take it up in the chat. But let's discuss a little bit further. Listen, if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. All right, don't watch that. You understand? Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. Grab your water bottle because the streets, they're on fire. All right, let's jump into this. No wasting of time. Look, I know a lot of men are gonna dislike what I'm saying right now. They're gonna call me all sorts of names. I'm a simp. They're gonna call me I'm female orientated. They're gonna tell me that that I like women. I'm always on women's side. Da, 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 da. Just want to put this straight. I'm a person that thinks on a psychological level. I like to think about the question why. And I'm saying that from what I've observed from social media, some of the comments I've seen of some black men, not all, some black men reminds me of something I remember in the past being in school. Okay. And let me tell you something. I may even be projecting in this moment. I'm gonna tell you some of my own mindset and kind of help kind of break an understanding of how sometimes the male mind can think. This is not all male minds. This is certain type of male minds because of what position you hold in society. See, the reality is the males that are complaining about Lori Harvey can't get Lori Harvey. They're not even in her circumference. You're not even in her space. She don't breathe the air that you breathe, sir. Okay, so the people that are complaining about Lori Harvey aren't the ones who can even breathe. That can't even get into her space. The majority of men complain. Now there will be men who are on her level who may also complain, but that's an acclimatation to power, and I can discuss that another time with you guys, right? But I want to mention these two key words because you see, a lot of the anger that you see on social media from men towards Lori Harvey is really a cover up. It's not anger. See, anger is an easy thing to showcase because it says I'm not weak. And one thing I've learned about men in general is that we don't like to look weak. So anger is a good emotion because it doesn't show weakness. If I get angry, everybody's going to know about it. No one says anger is a weakness. Anger is not about vulnerability. Anger is about showing everybody that, you know what, don't mess with me. So when we go to the emotion of anger, of course, the people on the social media showing anger, I'm not hating on her, because it shows, quote unquote, no vulnerability. But the reality is that's not the emotion you're feeling. That's not the emotion you're feeling. Let me give you two emotions I believe is actually operating within a lot of these men when it comes to Lori Harvey. Let me give you the emotion. The emotion is jealousy and envy. Those are the two emotions I believe that are operating at this current sphere and current time within a lot of these men when it comes to Lori Harvey. Let me give you uh uh let me give you definitions of this word. So jealousy, okay? Jealousy here refers to thoughts or feelings of insecurity, fear, and concern over a relative lack of possessions or safety. I'm going to break it down and explain to you why. Jealousy can consist of one or more emotions such as anger, resentment, inadequacy, helplessness, or disgust. These are you see, when we talk about resentment, inadequacy, helplessness, or disgust, when I mention those terms, a lot of men who hate on Lori Harvey are going to have a problem with those terms. You know why? Because those terms are vulnerable. Those emotions are vulnerable. They are seen as weak because the way that we've been reared in society is that emotions are for women and emotions are for women and women are seen as weak within our society. Therefore, if I position myself as somebody who's an emotional being, I too then am weak because we see women as weak within our society, right? So now, if I mention the words resentment, inadequacy, helplessness, or disgust, and I say that's what these men are actually feeling towards Lori Harvey, they will tell me, no, we just don't like the way she's moving, right? And so you hear these cover-ups within this, and I'll go into it in a second about some of the cover-ups are. The full definition of jealousy in its original meaning, jealousy is distinct from envy, though the two terms have popularly become synonymous in the English language. Let me give you what envy is, because envy is another word I believe also a lot of men are feeling, and I'm going to explain where this actually comes from. You see, I need to be able to explain it to where it actually comes from so you actually understand what's going on within this as well. Okay. um Let me just bring this up to you guys as well. uh there we go. Cool. All right, cool. So envy here, let me just say this actually, sorry, let me take this off so you guys actually see this. um there we go. So envy is an emotion, um, is an emotion which occurs when a person lacks another quality, skill, achievement, or possession and either desires it or wishes that the other lacked it. Aristotle defined envy as a pain at the sight of another's good fortune, stirred by those who have what we ought to have. Bertrand Russell said that the envy was one of the most potent causes of unhappiness. I know I didn't put it in there because they ran out of space. Okay. All right. So I'm going to break down a couple things of what's actually happening, and define this. Okay. I'm gonna break this down right now. I love that point that Onu's put up there. Right, I'm gonna address this as well because if there was a genuine concern for Lori Harvey ending up like Taraji P. Henson, they wouldn't go about it this way. If you genuinely felt like you wanted to help Lori Harvey, the way that some of these black men are going about it, they wouldn't go about it this way. If I have a genuine concern that, hey, look, the way you're operating in your 20s, you might be single in your 30s. Let me tell you something. I had a conversation with one lady back in the day. I remember this, and I said to her politely, I said, let me tell you something, you are very intelligent, you're very smart, you're educated, you got a good head on your shoulders, you're very logical in the way you go about things. And I said to her, look, but I want to be very clear with you, I want to be very frank. I see the way that you deal with men, and I'm not sure how this is going to work for you in the long term when it comes to relationships. I said you might want to look at it. I'm not saying don't focus on your career. I'm not saying don't focus on education. I'm not saying this. I said, just from my perspective, what I see, how you relate, I'm saying to you that you might not have knowledge in this area. And I'm saying to you that you may want to focus on how you connect with men in this particular area. If I care about you, and if I care about you might end up single, I'm going to approach the situation a different way. I'm not about to insult you. I'm not about to get angry with you. I'm not about to say you're going to be single like I'm trying to prove to you something. Because the reality is, when I start going down the lane of you're going to be 40 and single and have no man, when I start going down that lane, I'm trying to shame you. At that point, I don't have your best interest at heart. The reason why you start shaming someone like that is because you can't get them. The reality is, you ain't going to be in this conference. They ain't going to choose you. You ain't going to get them. It hurts because they don't see you. Do you know what the reality is? A lot of men are hurt by someone like Lori Harvey because she represents what we see as beautiful women in our community who don't look at you and who don't smell you, who don't taste you, who don't look your direction. And that hurts because what a lot of these men feel like are disenfranchised within the society, because society doesn't look upon them as someone popular, doesn't look upon them as somebody who's successful, they're not seen and they're not heard. That's the reason why a lot of these men are on the peripherals of society when it comes to being seen and heard. And so when they see this beautiful woman who they can't get and who they can't be with, right? Who they can't be with, okay? All right? They get annoyed because they can't attain it. And if they can't attain it, what does it say about them and their own value? Let's keep it a buck. Let me give you an understanding of what I'm talking about. Y'all remember school? Remember in school? You were back in school. So let me give an example of what I mean by that. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put a disclaimer in this part, right? That I may be projecting, some of what I have gone through and what my own mindset is, and I'm projecting on some of these men. So I could be. I'm just gonna put it as a disclaimer, right? I like to be very honest about this. But I remember in school, right? I remember what position I was. I was one of those kids that was cool with the cool kids, and I was cool with the nerds. I was cool with pretty much everybody, right? I wasn't top popular, but I wasn't at the bottom where you wouldn't see me, right? I was a fat, funny kid, right? But when it came to women, let me be very frank with you, I was very good at being friends, but when I tried to initiate more, I was never seen and never heard. In fact, one girl told me I'm a 2 out of 10. Okay? Shout out to her for breaking my heart. Okay? But one girl told me I'm a 2 out of 10. Told me in front of a whole class, I'm a 2 out of 10. Yeah. I remember one girl, I said, "Oh, I actually like you." She said, "Look, I don't feel that way about you." Broke my heart. Right? I remember feeling like when you try to move to some of these pretty girls, they don't even look at you because they're only looking at some of these bad boys, right? I remember these days, and I want to give you the mindset of what happened. And if you don't grow and if you don't come out of that mindset, you're gonna die another death, bro. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna die another death. You have to understand what happens in this situation. All right. All right. So let me tell you this now. So so I remember these pretty girls, and I remember like you wanted to be with them, but I never had the confidence to approach a lot of these women. Two, I never had the chat. I never had the quote unquote the looks at the time. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have the stuff to be able to attain these women. And do you know what happened? You get annoyed. Real spit. you get annoyed, right? You get annoyed, and when you get annoyed, you say to yourself, you can do one of many things. But my one was, I get annoyed and go, well, I don't really care about it anyway. Reality is I do care. Let's be honest, I do care. I want that one, but I can't get it. So what do you do? See, if you're a sensible human being, you say, well, it's just not for me. Unfortunately, they don't like me that way. It's all right. If you're a sensible human being, but a lot of people are broken. A lot of people are coming from homes where they have no love, no affection, no care. A lot of boys are coming from homes where they're being mistreated. A lot of boys are coming from homes where their father is a dictator, not a lover, a dictator. And a lot of these men are vying for power. And then they go into a society, go into life, which actually is unfair, by the way. It's a game, but it's unfair, which actually benefits us as men. Just in some degree, it does, because we're in a patriarchy. And I'm never going to deny that and lie against that. And anybody who tries to say that it's not the truth, I don't want to really hear it. I ain't got time for it. And then you go into the society, which then gives you an aspect of an advantage. But the advantage is only when you're this young, when you're between the ages of like 9 and 15, 16, 17, you realize that advantage actually really is more based on physicality, right? When you're young. So if you don't have the physical attributes, if you're not good looking, if you're not the fastest kid, if you're not the kid with the scholarships, if you're not playing sports or whatever that is heralded at that young age, right? You're not at the top. And just like the manosphere always complain about the women looking at the top 20%, that's how it was in school. Now, the top 20% or whatever at our age, at our mature age, where we're now at the grown age of 30, 40, going on 50, whatever, the top 20% are those men who now, or men or women, who now not only carry beauty or are good looking, but now have finances, are emotionally intelligent, have status, who have power in society, that they are doing something, they're movers and shakers. Those are now the top 20%, right? It's much broader than when you were in school, but the reality is there's still a top 20%, right? Or top, I'm saying that as a kind of understanding for us, right? So what a lot of these guys don't fall into that top 20%. And so a lot of these women like Lori Harvey, who are dating those top 20%, the men who are not in the 20% are angry, okay, at someone like Lori Harvey being able to maneuver around these men in the top 20, because they're like, wait, how can she do that? How can she have the power to do that? How come she has the power to do that? And the reality is, you're not mad at Lori Harvey. You're mad at you. You mad at you. You mad at you that you're in the position that you're in, that you can't even hold a flicker and a flame to her. And I'm not talking about all men here. I'm talking about specific types of men. And even within the 20% of men, let's say top 20% of men, there are men who Lori Harvey would never date. Let's talk about this one, Lil Boosie, who was talking about her all the time. You ain't never going to get a date with her, but you angry because you know she would never date you. See, the incline to power, to want to have something and not able to get it, is what we call anger. But underneath that is the true emotions. But underneath it, the true emotions underneath it is jealousy and envy. The jealousy part is that you're not going to be able to attain this, and this doesn't make you feel safe, because reality is, how can I be in the top 20, or even how can I be one of the top males like Little Boosie? I'm talking about Little Boosie right now. If how can I be a rapper, have so many women around me, but then there's one girl that would actually resist me? How dare she? That's actually coming from an insecurity. The fact that you feel that every woman should be able to respond to you, that every woman that you go for should actually want you. That's an arrogant, prideful, I don't want to say narcissistic, I don't think that's it, but arrogant and prideful mindset. Not everyone's going to respond to you, but Little Boosie was deciding to talk about her. The reason why he's talking about her, because he couldn't get her. So if I can't get you and I'm broken in my mindset, what I'm going to do, I'm going to trash you. I'm going to cuss you. I'm going to call you a hoe. I'm going to call you all sorts of names. Do you know all the things that have been said about Lori Harvey? Half of them can't even be substantiated. Half of them can't even be substantiated. People calling her a hoe. Where's the hoe? She has dated several guys, but where is the wholeness? Please, when we talk about hoe, it's because she's been sleeping around. Who has she slept with? Because I don't know who she slept with. Oh, you know she's with Diddy. You assume she slept with Diddy. I'm not saying that she didn't, but you assume that she slept with Diddy. Okay, cool. You know she's been with Future. You assume she slept with Future. Okay, cool. She's been with Michael B. Jordan. You assume that she slept with Michael B. Jordan. Okay, cool. She's been with Diamond Idris. You assume she slept with Diamond Idris. You can't substantiate that she slept with these people, and you're calling her a hoe. Why? Because if you call her a hoe, then you can lower her value, which means actually she's not really worth she's not really worth anything. Therefore, I didn't really miss out on anything. If I can't get you, I have to lower your value so that it looks like I didn't miss out on anything. I'm talking about specific type of men here. This is not all men. This is specific types of men. In order for me to not feel like I'm missing out on not being able to attain you, I'm talking about little Boosie kind of example now, right? The only way to do that is to what? Is to lower your value, because if I lower your value, then I didn't miss out on anything. But the reality is, our good sis Lori Harvey has said nothing about her relationships. She hasn't come out, trust any man, cussed any man, said nothing negative about these men, and yet you want to hate on her. Why? The reality is that your silence, ladies, is absolutely freaking golden. I had a friend the other day, right? I just said the other day, I said to a friend the other day when I was in Ghana, and I told her the only way to win a game against men is to shut up. Don't say a word. You see, men hate when women go silent because we're used to your emotional response. When you decide to speak, that's when I get you. See, when you speak, I can see you care. When you speak, then I can begin to take apart your argument. Don't say anything. Look what the men are doing. Silence is golden. Silence is golden. Right? Silence is golden. Look, she doesn't say nothing, and yet these high value men keep dating her. Right? And yet these high value men keep dating her. Why? Because her silence is worth $1 million. Silence is golden. And when the right guy comes along, he can appreciate, no, you didn't say nothing about these men. You didn't cuss them out. You weren't rude about them. Forget what the masses are saying, because they can't even attain you anyway. Like, yo, I see you. I see you. Do your thing. Right? So a lot of times with these situations, right? Trying to fight a man with fire, no point. Just keep quiet. Just go silent. Just go silent. Men fear silence because we're used to your emotional response. And this is again leads to my next point, which is why a lot of men get frustrated with Lori Harvey, is because she moves like a dude. She moves like a dude. And the one thing that men fear is themselves. We don't fear you, ladies. We fear ourselves. We fear other men. So what happens is when a woman begins to move like another woman, when a woman begins to move like a man, it's scary because now we can't trust that. We don't trust your subset of characteristics. See, the game is rigged. We know how women are going to behave. She gets into a relationship, she starts to care. Now we've got you locked in. But if Lori Harvey says, I'm not going to be emotional, or I'm not going to be as emotional, I'm going to take some logic into it. I'm not going to get myself sucked in so deeply into love that I completely miss all the red flags, and I'm going to be lost in it. And she starts moving like how we move, with a bit more logic and a bit more, do you know what? This doesn't work for me. I'm gonna leave it alone. Suddenly we're gonna be scared. And I'll tell you why we're scared, because we're not used to seeing you move like that. We're used to you being male centered. We're used to you also having a subset of behaviors that women often do. You get emotional, you get tied into a relationship, and when you get emotional, I then have power over you. And when I say emotional, I'm not talking about having emotions. I'm talking about when you're reactive. See, a lot of times when we talk about women being emotional, it's not about being emotional. It's about being reactive. When women are highly emotionally sensitive and they become reactive, gotcha. Got you. See, when you allow your emotions to dictate every action and you become reactive, got you, got you, got you. Because now you're going to start moving erratically rather than really thinking about how you should move. A lot of men love it when women are in that space because you're going to be moving erratic. But the way that Lori Harvey is playing the game with her silence, it unnerves a lot of these guys and they're frustrated. Right? We need not be frustrated. Okay? All right? A lot of men are envious. And the word envy, remember you said the word envy? The reason why a lot of men are envious of Lori Harvey is that she's a person. Look, envy is an emotion which occurs when a person lacks another quality, skill, achievement, or possession, and either desires it or wishes that other lacked it. A lot of these men wish they had the ability of Lori Harvey to be able to attain whatever they wanted. They wish. They wish. They wish. Right? And like when she said here about, I am the prize, that will trigger a lot of men. And I'm saying a men, not all. Again, I want to make it very clear. It's not all. Some men. It happens to some men because the reality is they feel entitled to something. Like, look, if I go into a shop, not even that. Actually, it happens in real life. Some people will look. I've done it myself. You guys, I'm probably sure you've done it as well, right? For instance, you might see someone buy a t-shirt for £500 and you be like, why would you spend £500 on a t-shirt? The reality is you don't have that kind of money to spend on a t-shirt. Let's be honest. Right? Let's be honest, you don't. You don't. Okay? So then you start getting annoyed at that brand. It's like, well, that brand is just overpriced. Who wants that brand anyway? Who likes that brand? And you start making up all sorts of rationalizations for why you feel the way you feel. The reality is you can't afford that brand. And it annoys you can't afford that brand. Right? So you start devaluing that brand. Right? But then when you get enough money that you can spend £500 on a t-shirt, that energy doesn't go, that energy goes away. All that chitty chat that you were doing beforehand about the brand this, the brand that, you don't even have it no more because you just bought it. Right? So instead of actually being real with actually how you feel, which is you're a bit jealous, you're a bit envious of the fact that you don't have the money to be able to buy this brand, you start to devalue it. And the same thing happens to people in relationships and people in situations. People start to devalue things. Right? You start to devalue things. And so the same thing's happening also with Lori Harvey. People start becoming envious because of the quality, the skill, the achievement, the possession, the fact that she can actually date whoever she wants to date. The fact that after 3 or 4 different guys she's dated, she can date a fifth one. The fact that on a 6th or 7th guy, she can date an 8th one. It's frustrating to you because you don't have options. You don't have options. You can't wake up in the morning and just get any girl. And if you could get any girl, the girl that you get is not quality. That's why you're angry. Because the man them that have got gal that are quality are not complaining about Lori Harvey. Now, Bussy is different because, like I said, there's people like Bussy who are really just annoyed. People are just annoyed. Because they can't attain and they have power. They have what I would call power issues. Like they have to humble women, and that's completely different. But let me be real. Let's be real. Let's be real. Okay, let's be real. All right. They want to be like. And then here's the funny thing. Here's a real thing that people don't even want to talk about. Right. A lot of these, like even Manosphere, right? They talk about the likes of Future them and these girls date Future. Look, they don't like Future. They don't like people like Future because people like Future remind them of when they were in school of girls dating these bad boys. right? So what happens? You start to what? Degrade people like Future. Listen, let me get it twisted. I don't agree with every decision Future's ever made, but let me tell you something. I can learn a thing or two from Future. Look, I keep telling this. Instead of me trying to devalue Future, I need to learn from some of the things he does. Now, not all of the things, because he trashed for some of the things he'd be doing, especially where he was treating Sierra and some of the things he was saying. But I'm saying there's some things I can learn from him. And a lot of these guys who then hate Lori Harvey also actually hate Future, but mask it with, they'll mask it with fake admiration for Future. The reality is you don't like Future either because he does things you can't do. And then you start feeling like you wish for Lori Harvey to learn a lesson or hope she gets her heart broken. Then she'll learn her lesson to treat guys nicely. Who said she treated them badly? No, deep it. No, I need you to deep it, Who said Lori Harvey treated any of these men badly? Apart from the Michael B. Jordan thing, which is speculation, we don't really know the full truth. Who said she treated these guys badly? Why'd you wish her bad because she dated a bad boy? No, let's really break that down. Let's really break it down because I'm gonna expose some people here. Look, the reason why some guys, and I'm talking about specific guys, nice guys, the reason why they get frustrated at people like Lori Harvey, especially and other women like Lori Harvey, is because when they date someone like Future, the reason why you get annoyed is because you feel that your niceness deserves a woman like Lori Harvey. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. So sorry. I need you to wake up and smell the freaking Kenko coffee. Okay. That's not how life works, right? See, your niceness does not mean you deserve a girl like Lori Harvey, but you do feel like that. That's why you get annoyed when someone like Lori Harvey may date a Future and then you go, I hope she learns a lesson. I hope she's heartbroken. I hope she's 30 and then she's single. I hope she's 40 and she's single. And the reality is you feel you deserve that. You feel you deserve someone like Lori Harvey. You vex Lori Harvey because you feel you deserve her because you're nice. Don't work like that. Don't work like that. It don't work like that. Instead of you to learn the game, you're out here trying to use your niceness to get out of my face. This is again for a specific type of male. This is not all males. Okay? So a lot of these guys that are nice guys, they wish for Lori Harvey to fail because then it would validate them. It would validate that. See, if you're dating one of us, a good guy, a nice guy, because I distinguish between nice and good. Good guys aren't nice guys. If you're dating one of us nice guys, this would never happen. Oh, probably the worst would have happened. At least she knows what she's getting with Future. With you, who knows what she'll get, right? So in reality, if with her failing with Future or her becoming knocked up or her, becoming 40 and single, look how happy the manosphere are with Taraji P. Henson. You've ignored all the nice guys. Who said the girl was even being mean? Who said the girl was even being rude? Who said the girl was even mistreating Mandem? The one that you're getting angry at hasn't even mistreated any of these people wrongly. Do you know what I mean? Right? So I need you, those of you who are listening to this, to understand that some of you have a mindset that you have not checked. You run in a program and you don't realize the source and the coding, what it's really doing to you. Okay? You don't realize. That's not to say there isn't some validity to actually checking yourselves as a man or a woman. I said this as well, by the way, said this as well. I'm not trying to be single all my life. I don't care what you guys say about being single is fine. Sorry, that's not my MO. Okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in terms of the fact that you're a wrong'un. I'm saying to me, I don't want to be single for the whole of my life. I'm sorry. No, thank you. Unless God has called me to that particular ministry, I don't want to be in that space. So if you feel like you can be in that space, great, fantastic. But as for me, that ain't gonna be me. So I'm never gonna sell you that dream of guys being single. Listen, being single is great to a point. up into a point. But let me be real with you. I want a lady. I want a wife. I want a gal. You understand? So for me, I'm not going to pretend and try to sell you the dream of singledom is so amazing. It is nice for a time and a season, but I don't want to be that forever. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to sell you that bull crap. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be real with you. Okay? Yeah? Now, so I think this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is me leaving it as it is. But yeah, so someone said all the gallivanting in Ghana, you didn't meet someone. Oh, I met people, Sam. I met people. You know what it is. I met some people. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, listen, so yeah. That was my breakdown of the Lori Harvey situation. I think Lori Harvey is amazing. I think she's cool. I like Lori Harvey. You know what I mean? Look, any frustrations I have with any woman when I can't get them, it's not to do with them, it's to do with me. It's the fact that I know that maybe I'm not on their level, and that's okay. Sometimes you're just not on that level. Sometimes you don't offer enough. Sometimes you're not good looking enough. Sometimes you don't have enough money. Whatever it is, it doesn't make a difference, okay? You don't have to get angry at the other person. You don't have to be vexed and hoping the worst for them. If anything, let me hope for the best for you. Okay? All right, cool. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna leave it there because we're gonna be back on in about half an hour, 40 minutes time for Married at First Sight. But yeah, share this with somebody. You know what I mean? Share this with somebody. This is Real Talks. We'd have to break things down. Much appreciation as well. You know, Queen said she's teaching us how to move. I love it. That's what the men are afraid of. You know, that's what the men are afraid of. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads, guys. We appreciate you. We're back in about half an hour's time talking about Married at First Sight. We appreciate you guys. You better stay locked and you better stay loaded, and we'll see you back.
It's pretty difficult to put in the.
Sorry, wrong thing. For another graceful little black. You know what time it is. Little black. You know what time it is.